Hello everyone, welcome back to Remind, knowledge sharing channel self-development through good books. This week, I want to share with you an incredibly valuable book.
The Temperature of Language, 4 timeless communication tips that will make people respect and love talking to you. An in-depth English adaptation and expansion of Lee Juki masterpiece, The Temperature of Language. It is no accident that the best communicators in history were also the most influential. The people who speak with grace, precision, and warmth rarely struggle to make friends, close deals, inspire teams, or calm angry crowds. When they open their mouths, others lean in. When they fall silent, the silence itself feels meaningful. Great speaking is not a mysterious gift reserved for the naturally charismatic. It is a craft built on a handful of timeless principles that anyone can learn. Today, drawing from the brilliant Korean classic, The Temperature of Language by Ki-ju Lee, the man who wrote speeches for South Korean presidents and lectures at Seoul National University, I want to share the 4 most powerful communication habits that separate ordinary talkers from people who are genuinely loved and respected for their words. Tip 1. Know exactly when to stop talking. Sometimes silence is the most powerful word you can use. The first and perhaps most counterintuitive secret of elegant speech is knowing when not to speak at all. Real conversation is a dance, not a monologue. For the dance to continue, both partners must have space to move. The moment one person hogs the entire floor, the music stops. Lee Gi-cheol tells a now famous story from Barack Obama's presidency that perfectly illustrates this principle. During a town hall meeting, a man suddenly stood up and began shouting that Obama's immigration policy was wrong and would hurt his family. Secret Service agents immediately moved to remove him. A scuffle was seconds away. Obama raised a hand, stopped the agents, and said calmly, "No, let him speak. This man is worried about his family. We should listen." He let the man finish his entire angry speech. Then Obama responded with respect, acknowledging the man's fears even while disagreeing with his conclusions. The next day, newspapers around the world praised not Obama's policy, but his dignity. They wrote headlines like, "A president who respects the right to be heard," and "When listening became leadership." The lesson is simple yet profound. The highest form of respect you can show another human being is to give them the space to finish their thought, even when you disagree completely. Think about your own life. Have you ever been on a date or catching up with an old friend, excited to share something, only to have the other person interrupt every 30 seconds with their own story? How quickly did you decide you never wanted to meet that person again? Monopolizing the conversation is not communication, it is emotional exhibitionism. True connection happens when both people feel safely heard. Lee Gi-cheol writes one of the most beautiful lines in the entire book. Respect is opening your arms wide so the other person can speak freely. Wisdom always flows toward the listener. Calamity almost always flows from the mouth. In ancient Chinese, there is a proverb, "Misfortune comes out of the mouth." The more unnecessary words you release, the higher the chance one of them will wound someone. So the next time you feel the urge to jump in, correct, joke, or top someone's story, pause. Ask yourself, is my silence right now more valuable than my next sentence? 9 times out of 10, the answer is yes. Tip 2, respond 3 times for every 1 time you speak. The 1-2-3 rule of master conversationalists. A famous Korean television host once revealed his personal formula for never having an awkward conversation. Speak once, listen twice, respond 3 times. Speak once, you'll share your own view or a story briefly. Listen twice, and you'll give the other person double the airtime you take. Respond 3 times equals give 3 small signals, nods, eye contact, short verbal acknowledgements that prove you are truly present. This 1-2-3 rhythm is pure magic. Most of us do the opposite. We spend 80% of the conversation rehearsing what we will say next and only 20% actually hearing the other person. The result? We miss emotional cues, we interrupt, and the other person feels invisible. Here are 3 practical, instantly usable ways to respond 3 times. 1. Maintain warm, focused eye contact. Not a creepy stare, but the kind of gentle, interested gaze you give a child telling you about their day. Eye contact alone communicates, I see you and what you are saying matters. 2. Use micro-acknowledgements. A simple nod, a quiet mm-hmm, or a soft ah every few seconds tells the speaker's brain, keep going, I'm with you. These tiny signals release oxytocin in both of you and deepen trust almost instantly. 3. Ask short, curious follow-up questions. Really? How did that feel? And then what happened? These are not interruptions, they are invitations. They say, your story is so interesting that I want more. Important warning, these responses must feel authentic. If you nod like a robot or ask, how did that make you feel? In a flat voice while checking your phone, the other person will sense the dishonesty immediately and the conversation will die. Practice deliberately at first. Remind yourself before every coffee chat or family dinner, today I will speak once, listen twice, respond 3 times. After a few weeks, it becomes natural and people will start saying things like, I don't know why, but I always feel so understood when I talk to you. Tip 3, be concise and get to the point. The art of saying more with fewer words. When you are chatting casually with close friends, long meandering stories are fine. But the moment the context shifts, classroom discussions, workplace meetings, job interviews, wedding toasts, or any situation where time and attention are limited, verbosity becomes a liability. In these moments, you will notice 2 extreme types. Type A, the silent ones who are too afraid to speak. Their minds go blank, their hearts race, and they miss the chance to be known. Type B, the ramblers who, once given the microphone, refuse to let it go. They speak in endless circles, terrified that if they stop, people will realize they have nothing important to say. Both types lose respect. The masters choose a third path, radical clarity and brevity. Lee Gichel offers several field-tested techniques for speaking concisely under pressure. Technique 1, the 3-4 keyword method. When you are suddenly called on to speak and have 0 preparation time, silently pick 3 or 4 keywords in your mind and build your entire response around them. For example, if your boss asks for your opinion on a new project, your keywords might be customer pain, quick wins, and long-term brand. Everything you say flows from those anchors. This prevents rambling and forces structure. Technique 2, the numbered list trick. Great leaders almost always begin important points with numbering. I have 3 thoughts. Let me give you 2 reasons. There are 4 things we must consider. Why numbering does 3 miraculous things. It signals to the audience that the speech has a beginning, middle, and end. People relax. It forces the speaker to organize their thoughts logically. It makes the message memorable. You can use this even in job interviews. Interviewer, tell me about yourself. You, I'd be happy to. I see my background in 3 chapters. First, my passion for data-driven marketing. Second, the 2 years I spent turning around underperforming campaigns at Company X. Third, why I'm so excited about this role specifically. Even if the 3 points are not perfectly related, the mere act of numbering makes you sound prepared, thoughtful, and confident. Technique 3, the universal gratitude reflection vision template yuan. When you are completely caught off guard, wedding toast, retirement party, impromptu speech, fall back on this bulletproof 3-part formula made famous by Korean presidents. 1. Gratitude. Thank the organizers, the audience, or specific people. Thank you to the conference team for this honor. 2. Reflection. Briefly summarize what has been learned or achieved. Looking back on the past year, I've been amazed by our team's resilience. 3. Vision. End with hope, commitment, or a wish for the future. In the coming year, I promise to keep learning and contributing even more. I wish everyone here health and success. This template works in almost every culture and context because it is inherently respectful, humble, and forward-looking. Finally, remember that the raw material for eloquent brevity is a rich inner library. The more you read, novels, essays, poetry, history, the larger your vocabulary and mental scaffolding become. The same 3-point speech delivered by someone who reads widely will sound 10 times more persuasive than the identical structure delivered by someone with a limited inner world. Tip 4, never rush to criticize. The painter story that humiliated an entire room. Li Guichil tells a cautionary tale that every human being should hear at least once. A famous painter invited a group of art collectors to his home for a private exhibition. These collectors had spent years praising Painter A and mocking Painter B's work as amateurish and tasteless. When everyone had arrived, the host dramatically unveiled the first painting and announced, "Today we begin with the latest work of Painter B." The guests immediately launched into vicious criticism. "The composition is childish. The colors clash horribly. How can anyone call this art?" After letting them rant for several minutes, the host smiled and said quietly, "My apologies. I made a mistake. This is not Painter B's work. It is my latest piece." The room fell deathly silent. Faces turned red. The critics had just publicly insulted the very artist they had come to flatter. The moral is devastatingly clear. The moment we rush to judge, we risk revealing far more about our own arrogance than about the target of our criticism. In daily life, hasty criticism almost always backfires. When a colleague asks for feedback, when your spouse makes a mistake, when your child brings home a bad grade, pause. Ask yourself, is my goal to help this situation improve or to prove that I am smarter? Am I criticizing the behavior or attacking the person? Could I be wrong? Could there be context I don't yet see? Constructive feedback focuses on specific actions and future improvement. Next time, let's double-check the numbers before sending the report. Destructive criticism attacks identity. You're so careless. The ironic truth is that the people who criticize the fastest and most freely are usually the ones with the most fragile egos. Secure people can afford to be patient and kind with their words. As Li Guichil puts it, finding fault is the easiest thing in the world. Building something or someone up is the real challenge. Closing thought. Speech is the mirror of character. Technique can be learned in weeks. Attitude takes years. You can memorize every formula in this article, but if your heart is impatient, arrogant, or desperate to be admired, your words will eventually betray you. On the other hand, a genuinely humble, curious, and respectful heart will make even simple words shine with dignity. The ancient Greeks believed that eloquent speech, logos, was impossible without ethical character, ethos. Modern neuroscience agrees. People decide whether to trust you within milliseconds, long before they process the content of your sentences. They are scanning for warmth and competence in your eyes, your tone, your timing. So practice the 4 habits we explored today. 1. Know when to stop talking. 2. Respond 3 times for every 1 time you speak. 3. Be concise, structured, and audience-centered when the moment matters. 4. Never rush to criticize. Assume goodwill and seek understanding first. Do these things long enough, and something beautiful happens. People stop listening just to your words. They start listening to who you have become. And that, more than any clever phrase or rhetorical trick, is the ultimate dignity of speech. Thank you for investing your time in becoming a better communicator. The world desperately needs more people whose words heal rather than wound, who build bridges instead of walls, and who know that sometimes the greatest eloquence of all is the courage to close our mouths and open our hearts. Now go practice, and may every conversation you have today leave both you and the other person a little more human than before.